Hi, my name is Sarah Trumbull. I'm the founder and CEO of the Job Applicant Perspective, the first anonymous user reviews for job ads across the U.S. This is the level of go-to-market funding and some insight this level of go-to-market awareness and just education for the larger job market, because I want people to know public service-wise and also for public in general. And whenever you're pushing a paradigm shift of such a big situation, you're always trying to get the word out of what you're doing and why. So this comes from my Substack. These kinds of things are being read by fancy economists and journalists from around the country. And I want to make this more present for others, so I'm just doing different mediums for it. This is a blog post called How Old Social Norms Broke the Online Hiring Market, 4 Unwritten Rules That Made Digital Labor Platforms Collapse into Chaos. Updating our social norms, not HR tech. One of my main theses that threads through all of my critiques of the online hiring markets isn't that we've ever had an issue with the tech, but our mental models around the concept of the labor market. Hiring moved online, but we dragged old offline cultural defaults into a new environment. What once worked in markets were local, reputation-driven, and slow has imploded under the weight of scale. Millions of applicants, thousands of platforms, matching algorithms optimized for metrics, not outcomes. Why are we treating these as neutral entities? It's hilarious to me. What nonsense. Of course they're not. Instead of designing new systems fit for global digital labor market, we ported fragile old norms into infinite scale. The result, platforms optimize for engagement, not hires. They profit the longer they unemploy Americans. Participants adapt to game, not algorithm, and not the job, and trust collapses on both sides. These aren't glitches. They are inherited social norms, patterns built for small, reputation-based economies that fracture when digitized, destroying the supply and demand signals markets need to self-correct. Who this is for: job seekers feeling trapped in a black box of ghost jobs and silence. Employers and recruiters frustrated by high spend, low fill rates, and mismatched applicants. Economists and journalists trying to reconcile hiring data with lived experience on the ground. And platform designers and policy leaders deciding whether to build functional markets or double down on engagement metrics. If you've ever applied, hired, designed, or studied these systems, you're already inside the dysfunction. The 4 social norms that broke the digital hiring. The following are my list of social norms that, when pulled online without update, caused havoc. Feel free to add to the list if you have your own ideas. Number 1, fawning equals professionalism. Performance over truth. Offline, polished behavior signal competence and respect. A firm handshake, clean resume, and polite follow-up built trust when hiring was local and relational. Online, that performance gets codified into platform logic. LinkedIn personal brands, keyword optimized resumes, Instagram worthy, culture fit personas. Platforms optimize for keyword fluency and profile polish, not match quality. Hiring becomes theater when candidates perform an algorithm friendly identity, hoping to hit invisible thresholds. The result, noise skyrockets. Resumes flood systems, signals blur, mistrust grows, and employers suspect exaggeration, candidates suspect bias, churn deepens, job seekers play the game, employers dismiss their authenticity, and everyone feels trapped. We've built an economy where visibility beats fit, and markets built on performance instead of reality become impossible to stabilize. Number 2, talking about the hiring process is unprofessional. AKA feedback loops collapsed. Offline, employers rejected quietly, but unofficial reputation guarded restraint. Word traveled in small local networks. Silence had limits. When any company was overtly, constantly ghosting, no one would have applied. Newspapers, by and large, represent the entire talent industry. Previously, their business model was based on trust and only accurate information to either buyers or readers, no misinformation. In addition, in a regional area, they took calls from job seekers and were happy to remove untrue things from the paper. They lost money by deceiving U.S. job seekers online. Platforms are openly free to mislead U.S. job seekers with only positive consequences because engagement equals profit. The silence as norm was extended to the market itself when it only used to be a privilege for employers. Platforms instead institutionalized non-communication at scale. Ghosting became default, no structured feedback channels, no accountability for broken processes. For job seekers, rejections without signal. They spam more resumes, resume flood worsens. For employers without structured feedback loops, broken job descriptions, impossible requirements, and misaligned filters persist. But no one sees it until the pipeline breaks again. For platforms, silence benefits engagement metrics, no news, drives, refreshing, resubmitting, and scrolling. All good for session time, terrible for humans. Markets need information to balance themselves. When we erase feedback loops, we erase the way conditions for market corrections. We erase the conditions for market correction. Excuse me. A market without signal isn't a market. It's chaos disguised as structure. It's an illusion. It's just an illusion. Number 3, job seekers can't be trusted, aka missing trust layer. The deepest assumption underlying digital design, BT dubs, that's what I'm doing. We have $1 trillion market with no trust layer that all of the global economy relies on. I mean, I know that it's an actual tragedy because, I wouldn't be here if I didn't experience it. But also, the scope of the opportunity here is profound. Jesus, people. Candidates embellish, therefore employers must be protected. You see the assumption here. Job seekers can't be trusted, therefore we can't trust job seekers. Therefore, they don't need a trust layer in a market built to engage their time for profit. You see how that logic doesn't logic to an efficient market with that one? Platforms built one-sided trust flows, employers' ratings visible, candidates' ratings hidden. ATS flag risk automatically, but give candidates no recourse. Recruiters aren't reviewable because no one can tell when they work for a company or not. No review mechanisms or two-way transparency. Without horizontal trust between participants, platforms monetize vertical opacity. Employers trust the platforms, not people. Job seekers distrust recruiters and hiring managers. Excuse me, I have a cold. Neither side has visibility into actual interest. It comes out. Intent, value, or credibility. In short, platforms profit from absent. Participants pay the cost of inefficiency. They profit from distrust and dysfunction. When markets lack mutual accountability, no one learns, no one adapts, and inefficiency compounds until the entire system eats itself. Number 4, hiring is a talent show, not a market. Misframed economics. The unspoken default. Job seekers compete in auditions, employers judge. A two-sided market being approached as if only one side is a consumer and the other side is a performer scales disastrously online. Instead of designing systems where information flows freely, platforms built American Idol for jobs. It is casting for a theater, not a market. Millions audition, a handful win. Everyone else gets silence. Here's the tragedy. Online labor platforms are not small audition rooms. They are global ecosystems. Markets this large need to behave more like a labor stock exchange with real-time transparency and consumer protections for the unpaid users that drive all of its value. I do not know how to understand the logic here other than it's obviously emotional coercion in marketing. The logic is absurd. Instead, we build endless casting calls without mirrors. No one sees where the market's crowded. No one sees where it's starving. Everyone performs harder while staying blind to reality. A labor market without trust mechanisms becomes an endless round of American Idol. Employers play Simon Cowell, and in defending their right to judge, they miss the truth. They are definitely being played too. Definitely. I'm genuinely flabbergasted to think employers think that they're in control of the labor market. Wow, are they off base? Wow. Do they not understand? I'm wildly impressed that like Amazon and one of these guys really think that they're in control of the labor market. The consequence, broken market logic. When hiring moved online, it didn't just add inefficiency, it obliterated the natural signals markets depend on. No visibility into real job supply, no visibility into candidate demand. Platforms hoard data instead of circulating it. The actors inside the system, job seekers, recruiters, employers, they cannot hear each other. This isn't just frustrating for individuals, it is wildly irrational for business. A platform that hides signals prevents the very efficiency it claims to deliver. Bottom line, a market without audible supply and demand signals is not a market at all. It's noise pretending to be structure. I have research, theory of online market gravity, SSRN, OSF, blah, blah, blah. Some relevant companion posts on why national job boards tilt the market against Main Street. I am surprised the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has not shut this down. It's so bad for small businesses, like wildly bad. But good news, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, I'm here for you. My go-to-market is with small businesses. It's your people. You're like 95% of the market anyway, so sounds great. The job applicant perspective is the first reintroduction of the trust layer that was lost when hiring went online. As an anonymous user review platform for job ads across the U.S., we give applicants the chance to identify pain points in the system, be witnessed by sharing those pain points with each other, make more informed choices about what works for them. Even if no one else listened, the market would already improve by having job seekers' voices openly respected and honored. Community, witnessing, visibility, these are all things that strengthen market engagement. But this also leads to less resume spam, clear diagnostic insight onto pain points for employers and platforms, employers making more informed choices about what works for them. When job seekers aren't forced to gamble with their time, employers' lives improve too. Small businesses struggling to be seen through the noise benefit when the shelves are clear. Hiring solutions, not hope casinos, require a two-sided market to have quite overtly two sides. Call to action. These social defaults broke hard and fast the moment we scaled them into algorithmic platforms. The danger isn't just inefficient hiring. It's that we've erased the feedback signals entirely, the very inputs markets need to self-correct. How in the world did anybody think a market without feedback was a market at all? Until we rebuild transparency, trust, and shared signals, this isn't a labor market. It's an engagement machine posing as a hiring solution. Legit. It's almost like people didn't know fiscal year reports exist. What are we talking about? These are neutral platforms. Oh my gosh, that's a fun and interesting way to crash the U.S. economy. I haven't seen this one yet. This is the first for me. But given these are global labor markets, that's a fun and interesting way to crash the global economy. Seriously, some people in public policy have some, and economists, you have some explaining to do. What the actual? But that being said, I'm here for you. I do critiques, and I mean it because it's legitimate. But also, it's not just about critiquing things, it's about bringing solutions. Because you cannot, engage with a forest fire that you won't face, So, and me being able to see it doesn't make me a better person. It makes me a person that's walked through this fire. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your evening/day, wherever you're at in the world, and stay sane out there. Hug yourself, hug a job seeker. It's never once been you, ever. It's been an epic, colossal screw up by most of the economics world. I wrote other pieces on that too. It takes time for these things. It's one of those things. It's sort of like when you've already decided that you're not going to trust the people licking watches, you never know that you've created a Radium Girls situation at scale. And that sucks for every one of the Radium Girls. But it is where we're at, and we cannot face we can't solve what we won't face. So have a good evening, guys. Stay sane. Be kind to a job seeker out there.